Of all the decks that I have played in the past, Menagerie Death Knight is the one that I'm asked about the most for a deck update. And today I have a pretty good update, all thanks to one fairly new card, that being Blob of Tar. Blob of Tar fits perfectly in the playstyle of Menagerie Death Knight because the whole point of the deck is establishing an early to mid-game board of hard to deal with minions, and Blob of Tar fits that description perfectly. So Blob of Tar is a 4 mana 2/4 taunt poisonous minion that has a death rattle of summoning a 1/2 with poisonous and a 1/2 with taunt. And this solves a problem that Menagerie Death Knight had in the past of when a massive taunt minion is in your way, it's kind of hard to deal with, so having 2 waves of poisonous minions helps with that problem quite a bit. As for the rest of the deck, it's pretty standard. What we're trying to do is establish an early board of aggressively statted minions with Brittlebone Buccaneer and Dreadhound Handler, and once we have chipped down our opponent's life total far enough, we can close out the game with things like Corpsicle or Foamrender, or maybe even a 6 mana, 10 damage Marrow Manipulator. Anyway, that is Menagerie Death Knight. If you want to take this deck out for a spin, I will leave the deck code down in the description. And if you enjoy Hearthstone content like this, please consider subscribing. It would help out the channel a ton. Anyway, let's get into some games. Okay, got a warrior opponent. Probably a slower, grindier deck. So it is crucial that we get on a fast start, and the way we do that is by, of course, keeping our 1-drops and throwing away our mid-game cards. Hopefully we can pick up one of our powerful 2-drops. Don't mind seeing the Horn of Winter, could enable some pretty busted turn 2s or 3s. The Manipulator is probably the one card you least want to see in your opening hand, but that's okay because we just rip a sick 2-drop right off the top. Now a Brittlebone Buccaneer or a Dreadhound Handler or an additional Harbinger of Winter is probably our best bet. Wouldn't scoff at a Scarab Keychain or a Mosquito either. Okay, my opponent is playing removal. Very warrior of them. Let's play another minion and keep moving forward. Let's see if they can remove my turn 2 play. That kind of does, but we'll be able to sneak in 3 damage. And they rolled a decent one. Now let's Observer. And Bargain Bin and Counterspell will be what I rolled. And I'm going to try to protect my board a little bit and clear out their Starship piece with a hero power. Not my most favorite use of Horn of Winter, but I don't think my hand is lining up super well with Horn of Winter this game. So really hoping to draw most cards in my deck, honestly. Phenomenal counterspell right there. Mixologist is near perfect. Honestly, wouldn't mind. Could use some card draw. Hopefully we get that reanimation ability. We did not. Feel like we're entering an AoE turn, so a 2/2 doesn't seem too great, but is a random demon better? Let's get a 2/2. Random demons can be kind of bad, and we are a turn shy from their brawl turn. So I'll go for the tempo play. A little bit of tempo, a little bit of value from that potion. And they have the cannon. Probably hitting the worst one. Okay, pretty straightforward turn of 3-drop hero power.
Could use a trim.
Yeah.
Clear cut.
3-drop. And I believe hero power will go towards this guy. So if they activate, they are going to pretty much clear my board. Yeah. Don't really see much a difference. If they kept that alive, they could bump it in my Mixologist and then activate their starship. This way they may not roll the right order. They do decide to go for an activation. Cool. Not bad. And then they are going to New Heights. Okay. So we can go with the Manipulator. Spend a few corpses. Ideally, 3 of the shots go into that. Also, it's pretty mana efficient. Alternatively, I could Foamrender. Hit there and develop the Mosquito. Get the guarantee clear and also develop my weapons. Seems kind of enticing. This is much better on more of an empty board. So I think I will actually go for that play. Smack into there. And get them down to 15. And hopefully we can keep their board nice and clear. If they only just clear my board and don't gain any armor, I know, tall order, face it against a warrior, but I do have lethal. Okay, liftoff is not bad. And I believe we have defeated the control warrior. Let's go ahead and bump into there. And this is technically more damage. And then we'll clean up the rest of their life total with a nice little weapon smack. Not bad. Defeated control starship warrior. I think usually how they win that matchup is like chemical spill into the 130 with taunt, but luckily my opponent did not draw that combo. Paladin opponent. Likely the drunk paladin. Even though it was nerfed, it's still pretty good. Or it could be Menagerie. Could be a fellow Menagerie enjoyer. Being on the coin makes me kind of want to keep this Horizon's Edge, especially if they're Menagerie Paladin. This could keep their board pretty clear. Yeah, let's try it. I think in this matchup specifically, Horizon's Edge might be worth a keep. Ooh, coining out turn 1 Buccaneer into a Death Rattle on 2. It's a pretty good look. It's a pretty good look, and if it stays around till turn 4, imagine it lives that long. Not sure what kind of turn 2 answers they could have. Okay, so it is Imbue. Hit them for 1 with my Buccaneer, and my next turn is a big old question mark. Because I do not know what this hand is. It's a little suspect. Okay. Corpsicle is probably not the move. So let's bump into here. Horn of Winter. And should I just make them do the trading? I think I will. Because next turn they have to trade that 2/2 into my 1/2. At least I think they do. Maybe they're bold. No. They decided to go for the trade. And then... Pretty good card. Let's go with Horizon's Edge. Start shooting some shots. Not a bad spread. Smack into that dragon. Maybe a few more shots. And is that worth a Horn of Winter hero power? I could probably do better than hero powering with Horn of Winter. Cool, cool. Not a great roll on that. Okay, so I'm thinking it's probably just Mixologist. Maybe summon a random. And I don't know if this does the order I want it to do. It does. Okay, perfect. And I know I said maybe we can do better than Horn of Winter hero power, but I think that is what we are going to do. Festive Breath is not a bad pickup. Alternatively, I could just Infested Breath it, or I can just keep a hold of it. Yeah, I'm not loving either of those lines. Kind of being greedy with this Horn of Winter, but we'll see how that pans out. Another Dream Warden. Not bad. Got themselves a Cheese Dragon. And we have a Beast and an Undead. That's quite a bit of stats, actually. Yeah, it's hard to turn down a Menagerie Jug on two things. So let's go ahead and fire off some shots. Pretty good spread. Fire off a few more. Not bad, not bad. This Righteous Protector has been dodging. And they are continuing to dodge. I obviously need the Horn of Winter. I do want to shove damage, but I also want to take care of this guy. This is going to look real weird. I'm just not going to attack with that. Yeah. That'll deal with the Righteous Protector. Okay, so we've made it past their 2 Dream Wardens in the top half of their deck. And now we are on Corpsicle, them out of the game mode. Luckily that did not draw any Emerald Portals. So we have 9 plus 6 of 15. Not bad. I can also start foam rendering if I want to develop the weapon, which I probably do. And I think Harbinger of Winter only draws 1 more card, being the Horn. Another Cheese Dragon. And I think I'm on Operation Avoid what they're doing, unless they roll a taunt. Okay. Confirmed not a taunt. So let's go ahead and swing a 5 at their dome. And then a Corpsicle will go upstairs. So they need to heal, because I have lethal in hand. They either need to heal or develop a taunt. Wait, no. They need to heal. And I think they run like Flash of Light in that deck. I could be wrong. Seems like they're pondering their choices. The battle is over. They ultimately decided that they have no outs. Perfect. Beat Imbue Paladin. That honestly drew pretty phenomenally, so might be a decent matchup. Okay, we have a Hunter. Probably hand buff, or maybe Beast Hunter. I've never seen anybody play Beast Hunter, but maybe my opponent, Dalgard, is a bit of a dreamer. Corpsicle and Menagerie Jug, mostly late game cards, and Brittlebone Buccaneer enables our more sticky boards. With the Mosquito. Turn 1 Mosquito, love to see it. Now let's get one of our Death Rattly 2 drops to go with this guy. Going to coin out something on turn 1. Always love to see opponents spending that coin early. Scarab Keychain. Yeah. Scarab Keychain will find maybe Troubled Mechanic is good enough. I don't have any Drain Eyes in my deck, I don't believe. No. Oddly enough, no Drain Eyes in this Menagerie deck. Bomber, never trust them. And yeah, just gonna go with the Divine Shield. Not the most stellar use of a Horn of Winter, but got to get a wide board to utilize this Mosquito. We're also racing down a Rune Bear that my opponent is likely trying to hand buff. They have a Wound Prey to deal with my Mosquito. Cool. Don't mind that. And they are not going into their Rune Bear turn, so I'm just going to, I believe, just Zephrys for damage. Or I can try to impact their battlefield once they do establish something big. Yeah, let's go with that. Vanish and Death. Okay. I mean, that lines up pretty well with what they're trying to do. Reserve spot. Oh yeah. We are going to be dealing with some huge minions next turn. So let's... Oh, Explosive Runes is perfect. Okay. I'm feeling decent. We have Death for one half of it. Hopefully Explosive Runes can deal with another bit of it. Another reserve spot. I mean, this guy's gonna be huge. Yeah, I mean, that is not a tiny bear. Okay, so I need to deal 8 to it. Okay. Easy enough. You can deal 8. So, bump in there. And then my opponent will feel very unlucky. Right. Pretty much a guaranteed emote there with the Death. Tons of resources went into that Rune Bear. And then if they manage to buff up another minion, I have a Vanish. or a Blob of Tar. Oh, okay. I didn't know they were like, their backup plan was Jungle Gym. And a Cup of Muscle. They're hoping that lands on a Huffer, I suppose. Let's go with an incredibly sticky minion. And also a Divine Shield. And I have a ton of damage on board and a sneaky Horizon's Edge waiting to close out the game. I think this was just the nail in the coffin. Really, the nail in the coffin was the death, but I mean, this is a really good answer, but I think I'm still going to walk away with a win. Yeah. I think, oh, well, I know I'm going to walk away with a win now. Cool. Okay. So if you're on the fence about Zephrys, sometimes he's a bit of a jerk, but sometimes he just does flat out win you the game. A mage opponent. Probably Protoss. Freeze your board over and over again, mage. Horizon's Edge, not stellar in this matchup. Mixologist can do better. Harbinger of Winter, I'm pretty sure you always keep it. 2 mana 3/2 draw card is pretty decent. Corpsicle. And the turn. Was hoping that this was a different 2-drop. Like a Brittlebone Buccaneer off the top would be insane. We'll just have to settle for a turn 2 3/2. Hopefully they don't have 2 mana deal 3. Oh, interesting. It's Imbue Mage. Not, I mean, it could still be Protoss Mage, but very interesting. Let's go with the Seamstress. Pretty good clear there. So the Seamstress in this deck is just Rush Reborn, no lifesteal. Don't really need lifesteal when you're hoping to be a little faster than your opponent. Might do the same thing my opponent just did. Let's go with the deal 3 so I can deal with their Mixologist. And I've had nothing die this game, so I think I'm just adding a random demon to my hand. Probably the mode I pick the least. Let's see what we get. Might be a reason I don't pick that mode very often. I mean, 4 mana 6/6 might be good enough. Could actually be decent. Deal 2 to everything. 4 mana. Flutterwing. Okay. Should Zephrys be on deal damage mode?
Have you filled out the paperwork?
Let's deal damage. Ooh, that is a lot of damage and a lot of mana. Probably some of the worst rolls you can possibly get off of Zephrys. So let's just shove that damage and end the turn. Maybe I can go Gromish, Corpsicle my Gromish, deal them 10. Nice little turn 8 play. You know what? That might actually be the move. That could very well be the move. It's so dumb it just may work. They're about to clog the board with these annoying little wisps. Might have a bit of a difficult situation on our hands. Kind of want to keep this Horn of Winter for that sick play. So I'm going to. Honestly, phenomenal hits. No complaints. Seabreeze Chalice. We knew they had that, so no surprise there. So what could I hope for next turn? I mean, Blob of Tar would be okay. Horizon's Edge would be alright. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie to you, that is pretty good. Horizon's Edge, perfect. So let's go ahead and try to clear some of this board. Okay. And we will call it good there. So maybe Alakir next turn. Oh, they run right. Right, I forgot that they were a Ryla deck, so they have Paladin healing on their side. Well, that's not great. And Vicious Slither Spear as well. Okay, okay, fine. We have a game on our hands. I think I need to go Alakir. And unfortunately, I think I do need to get Handler out to shoot some shots. And we will swing a little bit of damage at their head. Next turn might be Infernal to gain life. Oddly enough. I was talking so much trash about this card. Turns out it's actually super busted. It's actually mega busted. Gain 2 life, 15/15 taunt for 4 mana. Or 6/6 taunt for 4 mana. My apologies, it's not that good. So they're obviously going to hero power, so they have 4 mana to work with. They are definitely going to hero power with that. Okay. Okay. So naturally, we will press this hero power, or this location rather. I am going to gain 10. And I do think I need to throw a little bit of damage at their head. And now the question is, do I hero power, bump? No, I think I have to Corpsicle this. Yeah. Let's Corpsicle that, and now we're just hoping they don't have their Wild God. Yeah. Just don't have the Wild God, and we are all good.
Let me nurture
Rough stuff. Sorry, Gromish. No lethal for you. Well played, opponent. That was a good game. Hopefully, I was wishing Zephrys would roll a little better, but that is the dice you roll with Zephrys.